From the Opubco Studios at Britain and Broadway, you're listening to a News OK podcast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Comics Podcast at newsok.com. I'm Matt Price. I'm here with Kyle Roberts. Kind of a Wolverine theme week on the Comics Podcast as X-Men Origins Wolverine comes out, and there's actually a comic out with the exact same name, X-Men Origins Wolverine, and we'll kick it off talking about that one.
Yeah, and there has been tons of Wolverine Origins and endings, and stuff like that over the past few years, probably about 5 or so years. And this is actually titled X-Men Origins Wolverine. Don't be fooled, it's not the actual movie in a comic. It's not trying to be like that. The movie is obviously an adaptation of the comic, so they're going to have kind of their own storyline to fit what they're trying to tell. And this is kind of an adaptation of the movie of the comics.
Kind of distills the origin down into one shot. I mean, you've got Weapon X, you've got Origin, you've got various different... This kind of gives you, if you just want the quick and dirty, what is the comic book origin of Wolverine, this kind of gives it to you in one shot. It's by Chris Yost, who's writing X-Force right now and has written some of the Marvel DVD and animated properties. Art by Mark Teixeira, who drew Wolverine back in the 90s, has a really neat look. I really like his work. He did Ghost Rider as well. He's got kind of this very muscular, gritty look to him, and I really like his look on Wolverine. And basically, I enjoyed it. I mean, it's not probably anything you haven't seen before for the most part.
Yeah, and I think that's the point of it. I think it's made for people that maybe haven't read a comic in a while, Wolverine comic in a while.
Remind me what happened with Wolverine.
Saw the movie, and it's beautifully drawn, like you said, with Mark, and the storyline's good.
Yeah. So definitely a nice refresher course if you're getting back into X-Men and want to go and kind of want to get caught up on Wolverine, or if you enjoy the character, it's kind of a concise recap of his origins.
Sweet. Next,
Legion of Three Worlds. This is Final Crisis tie-in, sort of. Jeff Johns and George Perez. The battle for the future with Superman and the Legion against Superboy Prime. This thing is dense. It's action-packed. It's beautiful, and there are not one, but two jaw-dropping moments. Oh, yeah, a little spoiler warning for that. Huge jaw-dropping moment. Characters return. I won't say it in case you're not looking and just listening. But yeah, character return, a villain reveal. It's a huge, crazy issue. Liked it a lot. I'm just going to advance say that's my pick of the week. Enjoyed it quite a bit. So, and then let's wrap it up.
Just all out there. Huh?
Just all out there. Also, Christopher Yost again, writing a Battle for the Cowl tie-in, The Underground, where we see what the villains are doing as Battle for the Cowl is raging. And this will tie into Battle for the Cowl, which wraps up with issue 3. You kind of see what's going on with the Riddler, Penguin, Two-Face, Catwoman, as the Battle for the Cowl is going on.
Yeah, and this is a one-shot, but it ties very along with the Battle for the Cowl storyline, obviously. And, I mean, who do they think the bad Batman is?
Right now, it looks like it's Jason Todd.
Looks like it's Jason Todd. Catwoman is pretty amazing in this. Riddler's in it. Poison Ivy's in it. I mean, it's an excellent storyline.
I actually like this better than the regular Battle for the Cowl issue. So
me as well.
We'll see how that goes. And then finally, let's talk about
Wolverine.
The big movie, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Kyle and I went out to the late night show last night and checked this movie out. You want to kick it off? What are your thoughts?
Overall, I mean, there are some problems with it. I mean, like we said earlier, it's an adaptation of the comic, so I mean, there's going to be some differences. Some people say there's some storyline differences with maybe Gambit's probably too old. He should probably be a lot younger. Emma Frost shouldn't have her diamond. I mean, all this you can see in the previews.
Just little nitpick things from the
we're not giving away anything. But I think that if you haven't seen it, or if you haven't read a lot of the comics and you're going to see the movie, I think they did a really good job telling their story. It's beautifully shot. The cinematography is amazing. The sound on it is very well. It's very good. What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I think, you start off and you have a few logic problems, but then it gets into it. It's very action-packed and exciting. And then you get to the end and it gets a little stupid. But
that's very true.
But I enjoyed it enough through the thing that, like, the fact that the last quarter of it is a little stupid and that there are places that doesn't make sense didn't bother me that much. Yeah. I mean, Gambit is really cool, which is great. I mean, if you're a 90s comics fan, there are two scenes you're going to love, which is the Wade Wilson scene at the beginning of the movie is excellent, and then the Gambit scene is excellent. Now, you may be frustrated with some of what happens at the end with one of those characters, but
a lot of those little bitty things didn't bother me one bit. You understand it's adaptation. You're going into it. knowing that and understanding that, but a couple of them were kind of out there.
Yeah.
One thing I just really wish that's like this in all of the X-Men movies is I wish he'd bring out the mask.
Yeah.
You know, at some part in a battle, he just brings over the mask.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be pretty awesome.
So overall, yeah, I mean, if you go into it just looking for an action movie and realize, okay, I'm just going to enjoy the action and maybe not think too much about why A and B don't quite line up here, I think you'll have a good time.
And also, I love the Weapon X scene. Again, not trying to give away too much.
Right.
I wish it was a little bit longer, maybe about 15 minutes or something like that. I think they could have done that really beautiful. And that's another good part about this movie. It's right under 2 hours, I believe, or right around 2.
It's like hour 45. So it was tight.
So, so I think that's a good call on their part. Just make it really long and like.
But
2.5
it does mean
hours.
There's some stuff that you maybe wish was. If you really like Origin, that's kind of a short scene. I'm not a huge fan of Origin, but I am a huge fan of Weapon X.
Right.
Wouldn't mind that scene being longer, but it's also pretty tight. So I would say, yeah. I mean, if you like Wolverine, I think this is not as good as the first 2 X-Men movies, but better than the last one we got.
Oh yeah, the last one was probably the worst out of all of them.
So I think this is kind of in the middle.
What is your overall
rating? Well, you know, we typically do 4-star reviews here at the paper, 1 through 4. I'm going to say it comes in about 2.5.
I'm gonna say 3.
All right.
A solid between right around that same mark.
In the same area. All right, very good. Well, so enjoy your Wolverine week here, and check out the movie if you'd like, and these comic books at your local comic book store.
And Free Comic Book Day is tomorrow.
Yeah, quick reminder, Free Comic Book Day is tomorrow, so go check out your local comic book store, including our sponsor, Second Chance Books and Comics.
That's right, in War Acres.
In War Acres. They'll also have a copy of the Free Comic Book Day Wolverine comic.
And then last night at the midnight showing, I did a MOS, kind of just a man on the street down there at the Warren Theater. So go ahead and check that out. Maybe have a couple laughs.
newsok.com. All right, so thanks a lot for Kyle Roberts. I'm Matt Price. Thanks for watching.
See you guys.